function, pumping and dumping, manipulate the market, flooded from the dark net, flooded from the deep web, keep it a secret. Every exchange got the nerdy brains trading on the frequent.
There we go. It'd be probably very helpful if I actually turn the microphone on. There we go. Let me actually just turn down the volume a bit. If anyone's in chat, let me know if you can hear me out there because I'm waiting for the reverb thing. So, hi, welcome to the DCG 201 live stream. I'm going to start off all the formalities anyhow. I am known as... There we go. That's how I know the audio is working. Anyhow, I'm Sidepocket. That's what people refer to me on the interwebs. I am one of the two co-founders of DCG 201, formerly known as DEF CON 201. We are one of the many DEF CON groups across the United States and throughout the world. We are located in New Jersey, particularly Jersey City, New Jersey, hence 201. That's the area code, one of the first public area codes that was ever commissioned by Bell Labs. And we normally meet third Friday. Let's learn how to speak. Hydrate. Third Friday of every month. And we had an awesome one final online-only meeting on the 16th. Really great interview with Sky Pirate, and just really awesome to just cathartically do that last live stream. Next month, on August 20th, we are actually having our first ever hybrid meetup, meaning parts of it's going to be live stream, but we're going to be back at our location, Subculture. We hope all the people locally will come out to go and experience this meeting because there'll be some stuff exclusive to the in-person stuff that you won't get on the live stream. It's going to be really cool. And if you want to know more about that meeting or what we do or look at past meetings and who we are, you can go to our website below at defcon201.org. I'm actually going to post that same exact URL in the chat. And we're also on so many different social media platforms. There we go. That was the word I was looking for. Our most predominant two is probably DefCon21NJ on Twitter or DefCon21 on Instagram, GitHub, the hostducks.social instance of Mastodon. We have our own Onion site. We're kind of everywhere with that. And so unless you want to go to our website for some of those links, here's the master links to all of those social links. And before we get into the program, I want to repeat again that I love interacting with chat. So if you are in chat and you have any questions or you want to do a cool shout out or whatever, please let me know on there, as long as you're not being what's called a fuck nugget. I think, oh, wait a minute. Let me double check something. I just realized, hang on. Here's a bit of homework that unfortunately I haven't done. Let me go to Twitch and finish that spiel because I think, unfortunately, I forgot to turn off the mature content filter on Twitch because I'm wondering why there's not as many people in here, and that's probably why. But anyhow, love talking to people in chat. So if you have a question or something to shout out, provided it's not like, stupid, sad trolling, please let me know in chat. Otherwise, I love lurkers as well. So if you're just here to learn and watch me blab or do whatever you want when I'm on the screen, as I always say, keep lurking and keep learning. The other thing about there is that if you like the content that you are going to see today, as well as look forward for some of our future shows, such as our next meeting on August 20th, and there we go. Yeah, I forgot to turn that off. There we go. Now everything should work. Oh man, just when I thought I had everything perfectly set up. So hopefully now there'll be more people coming in. But yeah, if you like what you see with the content today, where we're going to talk about this crazy concept that I've had on my list for a while for Crypto Barons, you can hit that bell, like, share, and subscribe on Twitch, D Live, and YouTube. The bell's particularly on YouTube to make sure that you switch it to all notifications, because YouTube is really weird where they will not let you know when your important shows are on, but will let you know when Jeff Bezos farts. Like, we care. So that's a whole thing there. But we're also live streaming on a bunch of things, such as PeerTube, which is our awesome sort of independent, decentralized network. On DLive, we're only 2 follows away on DLive from hitting 100 followers. Once we hit 100 followers and keep it that way for like a day or two, we get to apply to be what's called a cryptocurrency superstar, which will allow us not only to do more stuff on Crypto Barons, but also just let us do more stuff on our DLive in general. And, it's nice to support a more freer, not necessarily open source, but like in terms of speaking, more freer, transparent, smaller platform that is entirely based on blockchain. So if you have a DLive, especially go follow us. If you have a friend who has a DLive or a DLive, please let them know. And for all of you sad people on Facebook, I so apologize that you're on there. There is a way to chat with us, but our restream's really weird with Facebook because Facebook itself is really weird and confusing. So I just posted the link in chat of where to click on. So if you're on Facebook, you can go communicate with us. So one more hydration and we'll begin. Oh god, ice cube there. It'll be a bit to chew. This has now become an ASMR of watching Sidepocket eating on cam. Well, it's someone's fetish. Why if it wasn't, why would Twitch not make a subgenre for it? So anyway, welcome to my other show, Crypto Baron. So if you've seen the lockpicking show, this is nothing like the lockpicking show. Crypto Barons is where we look at various blockchains and cryptocurrencies as technologies. Part of the creation of the show was that I was so frustrated going online, and I am fascinated with this sort of stuff. Like a lot of cryptocurrency shows talk about like the marketplace and tracking the market and seeing ups and downs and things going to the moon and crap like that. And sometimes there's a little bit focus on community, and usually technology is kind of glossed over in this really broad term way. On this show, we are absolutely fascinated with the tech that actually builds these sort of systems, good or bad. We want to know, like, how is our first episode, we built a blockchain entirely through code. So we want to know how are these different blockchain services are set up, what sort of software and hardware they're using to back these things up. Do they deliver new tech concepts? Do they have a wallet? Do they have a test net? Can we run that on air? That's all what we're going to be doing. And we will be going through some code. I don't think we're going to be running code today just because of the system resources, and to be honest, parts of this might end up on a future Circuit Breakers episode, which is our kind of hardware hacking side. You'll see what I mean in a moment. But yeah, that's what we mainly focus on, while I wear the awesome actual physical blockchain provided by our co-founder, G.I. Jack, that's always really stylish on the show. And shout out to B-Sides NYC. I have no idea what they're doing this year, but I'm excited. I hope they're doing something this year. And today, as you saw with the intro, is this has been a strange topic I've been wanting to cover for a while, but it's been placed on the back burner. I figure, why not do it today while I have the time? We're going to be looking at blockchain technologies involving outer space and space travel. I figured that since we sent the 2 doofuses, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, into space, and really hoping that they remain there or get pulled into a black hole, aka our economy or things like that, that why not, everyone's been talking about outer space, or otter space if you're a furry, and wanting to know kind of like, well, you know, besides Elon Musk going into space, and to me, that's not real blockchain news. He's just a guy that yells stuff, and because he owns $1 billion, everyone listens, meaning the 90s with Bill Gates is repeating itself again. I figured we would actually cover actual technologies involving blockchains and cryptocurrencies being used for space travel because those actually exist as our co-founder marches by to, like, I don't know, shoot some bees or something. Um, so let's actually just get right into it. So we're going to go over to the browser screen here. Let's make this full screen right there. So as you see, this is our like default landing page. This is the awesome DCG 201 website that was coded by Cyril. Has a bunch of concepts by us. We're going to be over. He's been dealing with his own hell for like a month, as we all were in June. And when he gets back, we're going to be doing like a whole overhaul of this. Like visually, it won't change much, but we're going to like certain sections don't work. They're like dead links. Those are not going to be dead links any longer. We're going to have updated information. It's going to be really cool stuff. But let's kind of get right into it. So let's read this really interesting article done by aerospace.org about, as they say, blockchain in the space sector. This is space between this title and the Space Force, and we should have tagged Space Force in this because I love tagging Space Force and stupid shit. Why does everything just sound like a bad Star Wars plot? Why does everything sound like Rise of Skywalker, aka a bad Star Wars plot? Why is it? So we're kind of looking here to see blockchain applications in the space sector. Blockchain can almost touch any aspect of the space sector. I hope it could touch almost any aspect with consent, I might add. Other industries such as finance, manufacturing, communications, and leading blockchain innovation and adoption. The space sector will follow and adopt these leading industries, demonstrate progress and beliefs. So the strengths that aerospace.org listed with blockchain technologies in space. Now moving beyond the hype bubble. Okay, I'm going to start using the hype bubble as like a Tartarus for shitcoins. Like, that's the hype bubble. That's especially since our last episode was on John McAfee and all his weird snake oil stuff with blockchain and cryptocurrency technologies. Yeah, the hype bubble. That's what we're going to use. I'm demonstrating practical applications. The decentralized, although we have shown in the past that there are centralized blockchains. Just because you have a blockchain piece of tech does not mean that they are not. And you know, I just realized something. Crap. Did I not turn on the browser mode because I was testing things? I did not. Yeah, I turned it off. There we go. Now you can all follow me. I apologize for that. There we go. Now you can see things. Wow. I have everything perfectly set up at the right time, and I still screwed up. So this is the list we're looking at here. This is from aerospace.org. They're looking over blockchain technologies for the space sector. Single source of truth, ensuring transparency, tracks provenance. There's a base level of transparency that if you're using blockchain for voting, that's embedded in a actual blockchain system. However, we've shown in the past, things can be hacked. There's the 51% attack, among other things. It really depends on how well you design and code your stuff. Efficient can eliminate need for intermediaries. Immutable ensures trusted sources, and high potential to automate, decentralize, and democratize operations. You know, besides the decentralized nature and kind of the ease of use of IPFS, you know, the original, what IPFS actually means is, let's see, interplanetary, IPSF, interplanetary space protocol, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and that was designed for the incredibly long latencies between sending stuff between stations to stations and planet to planet. I kind of wonder if maybe a lot of tech that are already using IPFS might basically be future-proof for various space technologies because they have IPFS built into them. We're going to see how it goes. So the weaknesses that they've observed is obtaining consensus on how to implement a blockchain and work together will be challenging. That is the understatement of the year. That's a challenge of any single tech project, never mind blockchain products. Difficult to replace, entrench, and institutionalize, centralized encumbrance. I would say that's very true, but in NASA, I think that's honestly a good thing because, like, in space, you have very little margin of error, which I'm sad they didn't bring up here. So you really need to know what you're doing. So having just basically, I'm trying to think of the term, but it's something ocracy, basically like a ruling of experts just handling this one sector, especially one that's not being commercialized yet. It's beginning to with independent companies, unfortunately. I'm mostly in favor of, although it would be nice to be more transparent. And I think NASA has a bunch of stuff open source anyhow. So lacks privacy. I'm glad they acknowledge that at least, because by default, most blockchains, including Bitcoin, are completely open. Limitation around performance and scalability, especially as chains get larger, and still susceptible to security vulnerabilities, which already voided like 2 of the points that they made in the strengths in topic 1. We're not going to read this entire article. I will go over here. So let's see. Their idea for this is person sends a digital asset that holds value of information, funds, blah, 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 the peer-to-peer network, and then broadcast, and then validity and consensus. Block to chain. That doesn't that sound like it's like Boys to Men? Doesn't that sound like a freaking like music group or something? That's kind of how they see things. We're not going to go through this entire article. I am going to switch back to OBS view, and I will put the PDF in the chat, so there's the link for that. What we're going to look at is 2 specific, possibly 3 instances of blockchain technology being used for outer space. And we're also going to look at a very bizarre story that I literally found out, and I think just happened last night, that is not exactly related to blockchain tech. It is related to a lot of cryptocurrency community stuff, and it's just so weird. That's why I'm leaving it towards the end. So let's go to the main thing. Go to the main thing here. And so this is Space Chain. I found this a couple of years ago when I was researching. So before an aerospace village existed at DEF CON, I literally wanted to do a village, which I still might be able to do at DEF CON. I have a complete other idea for a village that I hope to either do for DEF CON 30 or DEF CON 31st, but I have to speak to people. I also want to prove its concept by something we're going to hopefully do in New Jersey around October. And but the former concept was I wanted to make a village called Hackers in Space, and we would cover it'd be like multidiscipline, so like everything involving space, satellites, biological experiments, including sending people and animals into space, communication lines, the actual physical technology like creating rocket ships and solar panels and the computing systems on board, kind of the history of the tech evolving. I wanted to just everything about tech in space I wanted to bring to DEF CON. Now, since then, there's been Hackasat, who I absolutely love. That's a very cool CTF project, and the Aerospace Village covers a bunch of space stuff. And the Wireless Village handles a lot of the communication aspects, but that's something I wanted to do. So years ago, I found this project, which has changed a lot over time, called Space Chain. It says it's owned by It's owned by a majority of people located in mainland China, by the way, just as a background. So founded in 2017, as they say on their website, because we're going to watch a video introducing themselves. And actually, you know what? Let's air the video introducing themselves right now, because one of the things that we often say on the show is that, we always love watching these IKEA-style, big business pitches by the different blockchain corps. And I'm going to put the headphones on so I can hear this. And so the reason why we look at these is because, one, it does give us usually an overall idea of what the thing is, but 2, it also shows not only what features that the company wants us to look at, but also how they want to be seen. So it's a really good recon to actually look at this propaganda, whether it's accurate or not, so that way we can compare and contrast the actual results and information that they put out there, as opposed to how they want to propagate to appear. So let's let Space Chain itself describe what it is and how it works.
Imagine a new operating system hosted in space, available to anyone, anywhere in the world. Space Chain is building the world's first open-source blockchain-based satellite network. A mesh node constellation of low Earth orbit microsatellites will serve as the next generation of decentralized infrastructure for the blockchain industry, allowing users to develop and run applications in space, like cryptocurrency exchanges, global real-time sensor arrays, ultra-secure data storage, space VR, true peer-to-peer encrypted messages, or applications we haven't even dreamt of yet, all while remaining secure, immutable, and decentralized through proven blockchain cryptography. Space Chain utility tokens will enable developers and users to run apps and store data on the blockchain, establishing a crowdsourced app marketplace, an open-source interoperability standard for all future space platforms. Imagine all satellites, spacecraft and hardware networked together by the open-source protocol and technology created by the Space Chain community. What industries could we create and boundaries could we break by untethering innovation from the Earth? Space Chain, revolutionizing the space economy.
that was Space Chain describing and introducing themselves. And first of all, wow, that is the most slick corporate thing that I've seen so far on Crypto Barons, which is impressive because there's a lot of money and rich snake. I like the salesman stuff out there. Like, I don't even think the Tron network has videos that are like that slick and well made. When we look at some of the sponsors of this in a bit, I can see why there's so much money put into this because the list is actually rather fascinating. It kind of gives a little bit of a picture of what this company is like. But two, back in May, we did an absolutely phenomenal meeting. The guests that we had on were just spectacular about VR tech and virtual reality and augmented reality, security, privacy concerns, etc. And, you know, a lot of times when we do certain things like Hacktoberfest or Compile Farm, things like that, we sometimes make sequels to them. I promise you, I can't guarantee, but I will promise you that if we ever do a sequel to the virtual reality special meeting we did, just the term space VR alone, like just that, that's like the most Hoboken-y, douchey pitch. Like, this would make people embarrassed at Black Hat if you said space VR. It's very similar to like when Trump and stuff talked about the Space Force. It's like that type of reaction where it's like a 5-year-old came up with this concept and somehow adults approved it. I will totally investigate space VR, especially under blockchain stuff, and see if we can get something featured on there or not. But let's read what they wrote on their website. So they said, founded in 2017. Let me just double check the audio. Okay. Founded in 2017, and 2018, I think, is when I found Space Chain itself. Space Chain is building an open source, a neutral infrastructure for the new space economy, the NSE, which all you need to do is change the S to a W and an E to an O, and you have the New World Order. By integrating space and blockchain technologies, our vision is to remove barriers and allow a global community to access and collaborate in space. Space Chain also offers a space as a oh god, this term. Oh, brain freeze. It's like eating a popsicle really fast. God damn it. Space as a service. I'm trying that. I'm sorry, folks. A little bit of bile came up in my throat reading that. So I apologize there. Let me rehydrate. Space as a service. That's like one of those like nightmares, like cyberpunk is real and crap like that. For modern businesses, enabling companies to explore. I read that as exploit. That was a Freudian slip. And realize the great potential of space and blockchain. We also engage in grant-funded research to promote and accelerate technology advancements. So, in essence, what we can kind of put together from this is that they want to create, so hopefully in the future, we'll be able to cover another blockchain network technology called Skycoin, in which they want to make wireless nodes that are located on the ground that peer-to-peer link and talk to each other. So if you take that and you put that as satellites in space, that's essentially what they want to do, is basically, whether it's through software adoption to existing satellites or launching their own satellites with the helps of NASA and other agencies, maybe SpaceX, probably, unfortunately. They'd be able to create a mesh network of satellites, and one of their big focuses is apparently opening it up to people as well as keeping it open source, which they do have, and we're going to look at some of that in a moment. The sort of odd part about this, though, is that they're kind of doing that thing that Sony used to do back in the day before the PlayStation 4 happened, where, as Reggie Fils-Aimé put it really well, that Sony is the type of company that doesn't care what you do as long as you buy their memory cards. So it's kind of like Valve. It's honestly kind of like the Steam Deck, where like Valve does not care what you do with the Steam Deck as long as you buy the Steam Deck and do something with Steam. So I think their whole thing is like, it sounds very, this is like U.S. libertarian, if this is open and free and open source and we're opening up, even though they use the term businesses and individuals aren't businesses, you know, I mean, there's the argument to be made about startups essentially, but still. But basically they're like, yeah, we want this to be open and free as long as you're on our network. And that's kind of, I think, where they get you a bit. I actually did not load the white paper in advance, so I'm going to open that up in a new tab. But before we go on, let's kind of look at their timeline map here. So back in February 2018, because I remember it's on the news, they launched their first node into space, and then they integrated it into the OS that we're going to look at, and then they started integrating Ethereum, which is one of the back ends of this, in order to do the decentralized apps. And then there's a recent thing that we're going to look into in a moment. I'm going to show a video for that. And it's been featured all over the place since then. But what's really fascinating, and we're going to go back to the technology, is let's scroll the way down. Let's go past this. Look at the partners. So Arch Mission, by the way, spoiler alert, has nothing to do with Arch Linux. Sorry if you're disappointed. It's a really cool name. Too bad it's being used for this. The pyramid, though, is kind of a giveaway on this. All of their partners are this weird mix of not only blockchain platforms, as well as space organizations like the actual European Space Agency and Space Belt and Open Cosmos, which is kind of a little morbid when you look at it. We might look at it in a bit. But what's also interesting is that you have these, like, because this was mainly founded from China, there are a lot of these are Chinese companies, and some of the websites here are a little defective as well, just to say, like, some websites just didn't load. And by the way, right now I'm trying to remember what it's called here. The reward system is up, the Incent reward. So if you go to get.incent.com as we watch, and you enter that code in the wallet, which sadly now is only available on Android or iOS phones, so it's not on desktop, or you scan that QR code, you'll get a little bit of a cryptocurrency called Incent. It's completely free. This is not an MLM or whatever. And because we would research if it was, we would not feature it on here. And basically, you can get, once you get a certain enough Incent, you can then trade that into any cryptocurrency, including, I believe, Bitcoin. And then, obviously, if you have something like Bitcoin or Litecoin or something, you can actually translate that to money. So basically, it's us kind of being our own cryptocurrency faucet and drip feeding you folks out there some cryptocurrency, because yo dog, we heard you like cryptocurrency, so we're drip feeding you some cryptocurrency on the cryptocurrency show, so you can cryptocurrency while you cryptocurrency. And it's just a nice way to reward you viewers. So I just want to go out of the way and explain that, because it is Crypto Baron, so I want to explain what those pop-ups are. But anyhow, as you can see here, is that this team used to be like literally all Chinese people. Now I think it's nice to see a mix of stuff, although it seems really between mainland China and like Eastern Europe. You have the board of advisors here, including Tim Draper. We're probably going to look at him in the near future again. Let's go back to the technology here. I'm going to read what they wrote. We are developing the world's first decentralized satellite infrastructure, DSI, not to be confused with any sort of thing in Star Trek. A mesh network of heterogeneous spacecraft. God, I can imagine Bible thumpers protesting that, not knowing what the word heterogeneous is. Owned and operated in low Earth orbit, or LEO, which is funny because LEO season's coming up, by multiple parties in multiple jurisdictions. It will follow, this is already a mistake in my opinion, but this is what they wrote. It will follow a TCP/IP-alike architecture, with each spacecraft performed as a node network. Now, considering how many issues and flaws, even though we still use it with TCP/IP, I get that maybe they want it because it's something familiar, but you would think that, hey, you have a whole new platform, you would try to implement something better than that. But, you know, I guess they just wanted the ease of use, and they were also probably really lazy and cheap. Network is supported by the spacecraft hardware, communication channels, routing protocols, and a blockchain backend network. I have never seen Space Chain at the Aero Villages DEF CON. It'd be really fun, because we're going to look at this moment, to bring some of the software and hardware in, because if anyone can secure test this blockchain, it would definitely be a group of hackers during DEF CON. Which, by the way, is happening in 2 weeks. We're going to be making announcements. So I'm doing the guides this week, which is going to be difficult. They're all, 2 of the conventions are hybrid, so I have to describe what's going to be like in Vegas, as well as all the stuff online. It's going to be a mess. But we'll make those announcements soon, and we're going to talk about us streaming during it. And we actually have activities that we're doing during DEF CON, so it should be a lot of fun. So the 3 main things that they have for Space Chain here, and then we're going to look at some other pieces, is blockchain infrastructure. So there's a blockchain registry forums, the back end. So it seems like the blockchain here it seems like there's 2 parts of the chain. It seems like maybe there's 2 chains, and one is the actual decentralized communication, so it has a record of the data. But a lot of the stuff they seem to be pushing is also like the governance aspect of it. We took looks of blockchain governance in past episodes. So it sounds like they're like running 2 parallel chains. It would be kind of weird if they were on the same chain. That would be kind of odd. But yeah, And then the next thing is spacecraft companies from all over the world are invited to join the DSI regardless of type and functionality of their spacecraft, which means that if DCG-201 finally makes a rocket ship, probably because of N Commander and Cell, to be honest, and send that into space, we might be able to connect to their satellite network. And then the government's part, which is engaging regulatory authorities across various countries, getting approval from cross-jurisdiction issues to ensure continued condensation operations. So it's nice to know that they are going through legal means on this, according to them. So that's kind of the applications that they're using is this is an interesting term, a satellite multi-signature. Hold on a second. Hey, Jack, are you like burning candles in there? Okay, because it smells like you're burning candles. That's why I had to ask. Just making sure nothing's on fire because we live in Jersey City and that happens. Tune into the next Master of Unlocking for a fun story. So the satellite multi-signature wallet, which uses satellite payloads to host clients' private keys and secure transactions, which again, gets kind of creepy because we've had Hackasack. You know what? That's actually an interesting thing. I should reach out to Space Chain and ask, hey, because we're going to look at some of their tech in a moment, have you asked the Hackasack people of maybe doing like one special blockchain CTF, maybe hosted by like Gitcoin or something, where like it's the same Hackasack? Oh, we got a follow. That follow came from, I'm probably going to miss it. I just missed it, but it should be on repeat, so I'll catch you in a moment. That's why we have this delay signal here. But imagine that same sort of Hackasack CTF, but using the Space Chain nodes and technology. Thank you, Glenn RTC on Twitch, for following us on there. Thank you very much for that. Now you can get updated for when future Crypto Barons, which I'll spoil it for you right now, is normally, unless we note, second and fourth Saturday of every month, starting at 8 p.m., as well as some of our other shows like Master of Unlocking, which is the first and third Sunday of every month at 8 p.m., Archvile Link's Perspective, which had its beautiful return a couple of days ago, which will now only be once a month, but it's going to be pure, unadulterated, concentrated GI Jack and Arch Linux, which is already like woof. Starting at 7 p.m. now, that's gonna be every third Thursday of every month, as well as some of our specials and new shows such as such as Circuit Breakers and things like that. If you want to know more, again, you can go to GCG201, our website. Or you can go to, which I'll post in a moment, our social link, whole master system here, unrelated to Sega's master system. So I'm in the wrong file folder. Here we go. So real quick in the chat, that's our website. And this is the master link to all of our social media, including how to access us on Tor, like the people watching right now through NVIDIA's. On the Tor network, you people are ultra elite. But let's go back to Space Chain. So yeah, it'd be nice for Space Chain like to really put their like mantra where their mouth is, and like link up with like have a partnership between Hackasack and Gitcoin and do like a giant, it's the same CTF that the Hackasack, but their own technology, so that way they can harden the systems. I should go pitch that to them. But yeah, their application uses a satellite multi-signature wallet. Space data. What is space data? Okay, I just assume because usually this is like NASA, right? Like that most space data is like, records of what the crew is doing, observations of different celestial bodies, things like that. But like space, this is starting to sound like when boomers talk about Space Force, where they're just like, we want Space Force, and they wear space boots, and they have space guns, and they do space stuff in space, like details. Space data access and ordering services, enabling users to acquire the space service. That sounds like a drive-through. For like food or something in space. I shouldn't give Elon Musk ideas. Never mind, I said that. More specific way, satellite and blockchain enhanced. I'm sorry, the bile's coming back. God, if I knew this episode was going to be like this, I would have put like a little side pocket almost pukes counter in the corner. I'm going to read this out loud and just have like a moment of silence at the end for a death of part of my soul and Commander Soul if he ever watches this, and Neo's. Satellite and blockchain enhanced IoT network. That is a sentence that only Satan himself could come up with. So now I get to contact the Internet of Shit in the IoT village. So it supports apparently connectivity IoT devices. So we can literally combine Gitcoin, Hackasack, and the IoT village, maybe even the blockchain village a bit, in order to do this type of crazy crap. That is just absolutely amazing. They also have a technical white paper, which I guess I'll open. Oh, I didn't do they had the interview with the founders. I didn't know that. We're gonna watch some other videos in a moment. But yeah, that's mostly Space Chain in a nutshell. So this is their white paper, which I'll share the PDF in chat as I do, so you can go check this out yourself. But we're gonna take a quick look at this. And honestly, okay, what time was it? We're probably gonna stream for at least another half hour, if not more, because we do have a bit more to cover. So let's see, community-based service platform, disrupting the space industry. Everything with blockchain is disrupting, even when they're giant corporate crap. It was last updated in March of last year, so apparently they're still recovering from COVID, which makes sense because this was based in China, so they haven't really gone back and like corrected spelling and stuff since the plague happened, so that's good to know. So this is kind of chunky here. What about how many pages do we have? 25 pages. Let's quickly look at the abstract. And then we'll go to another section, which will be a nice segue to a section of this, which is page 6, apparently. So it's very similar to what they have at the front page here. So nothing new there. Let's just go right to page 6. We're going to segue to that in a moment. But now I want to see the tech-based thing. What the hell is this crap? So they have a separate one that's 40 pages. That's just the technology. Let's see, we have the abstract, a mission statement, abstract, the value of blockchain, space technology, realizing the value of blockchain. So this is kind of, so this does go more into the tech, but this also kind of, it's like the tech with the business aspect of it. So let's see. Oh God, there's an entire section of telecommunication. I'm going to click on this just to see. The future is here. Now it's up to us to equally distribute the keys that grant access to a realm of endless possibilities. Honestly, I'm like eyeball scanning this, and like the way it reads is like regardless. Okay, time to get a little bit political here, but I think everyone's gonna laugh at this joke. Because you know politics is always a good thing to say on live stream, along with religion and what type of text editor you use. But I digress. So there's a whole stereotype on like how like people who like socialism talk, especially with comparisons to like Mao and Stalin's communism. And the best way I could describe this white paper as I eyeball read the brief history of telecommunication and internet evolution probably is not going to bring up. Yep, there is no mention of New Jersey in it, even though Bell Labs is basically the sad Weinstein Corporation grandpa of telecommunications. So they already screwed that part up. But this kind of reads so far, if I'm going to be completely honest, like the way people who make fun of socialism and socialists think socialists sound like on the internet. It's like a parody of it, except they're talking about blockchain. This is just hilarious. Let's see what technologies we could bring up here. So, the space chain structure. Let's see if we get some goodies here. This is kind of the overall structure here. We have blockchain apps. Let me just maybe zoom in a little bit more here. There we go. Quantum wallet. That's all in one section. And we have the different. So let's see. It's using, which I saw on their GitHub. So they're using libboost. There's a lot of libs in here. So if you don't like libs, just let you know right out there. But now they're using libboost. LibLevelDev, LibDatabase, and then the system library is LibSnappy, LibCrypto++, and then who knows? Operating system, and they're using POSIX, which already makes my head hurt, Socket and IO. We're going to get into this in a moment, but they are using as their main backend for their OS is Stylix OS, which is a very interesting operating system type in China that we might take a look at, as well as the main hardware driver. So it's hardware, software, and I guess like composite apps. And then there's a payload hardware involved in this. And here's a bunch of information that I really don't want to look at right now. See if we can get any other goodies. Let's see. So we're going to kind of go into this a bit, but apparently here's what they have for the hardware module. Again, kind of crossing into, we could probably literally do an episode of circuit breakers just with this if we got hands on certain types of hardware. So what they are looking for here is very powerful ARM or FPGA onboard OBC designed for space travel. Two sections, the ARM section and FPGA, at the time of this writing, the hardware is a dual ARM Cortex A9 MP core, up to 800 megahertz. Maybe there's some lower clocked ones. We don't know. 1 gigabyte DDR3 RAM with 4 gigabytes of storage. FGP module that has 125K logic cells. Precision milled anodized aluminum heatsink to control thermal load. Thermal load sounds like a porn that I've seen before on Pornhub. And provide EMI shielding, which is very important because, again, you're sending this directly into fucking space. The operational temperature needs to, because here's another thing about space. A little bit of my science background here, because I know a lot about space. Even though I'm not an astronaut, I know a lot about space. So the weird thing about space is that okay, so you know how the sun's the big giant plasma ball fire in the sky, right? So if you were out in space, because here's a question I often hear about, right, let's say you were out in space and you didn't have a suit, like just in the vacuum of space floating around, even if you could breathe, what would happen to your body? And so usually in films they show you like crushing like a soda can, and yeah, because because your body has its own pressure that pushes out that's normally matched with Earth's atmosphere, your muscles and your blood vessels would constrict. But we've actually had people out for seconds, like 14 seconds up until nearly a minute out in space, which is breathing apparatuses, and have come back, and even though they're all screwed up, they have revived. So that's what doesn't kill you. Let me tell you, particularly if you're just near Earth and you're not going to fall into Earth, what will pretty much kill you. It's not the pressure systems or even you running out of oxygen. You can actually hold your breath and survive for about a minute or 3. It's the fact that the sun exists, but the sun doesn't exist the farther the way you go in terms of the heat, because heat has to still travel. Same thing with light. So what's weird is everything facing the sun is going to start to cook you. It's even worse because since you have no shielding, you're also being hit with cosmic rays, which basically means you take an X-ray, or hell, you take Chernobyl, you times that by 500,000 and you have a cosmic ray, okay? Every time you've seen like a power grid go out or a satellite get knocked out, that's like like a cosmic ray just like half dinged it. So imagine like full blasties going through your body. Even if you survive this, you might be getting a form of cancer, but I digress. The best thing that's going to happen is any part of your body facing towards the big-ass ball of plasma called the sun is going to cook. Everything away from it is going to freeze. You will actually develop ice crystals from the condensation of your body. So, like, imagine if you were, like, facing the sun, full on, out in the vacuum space. Your front part of your face, your chest, your pelvis, the front part of your legs, and whatever part of your arm, provided you're not flailing facing, is going to burn, like, insta-sunburn. Everything behind you, the back of your head, the back of your neck, down your back, your buttocks, and the back of your legs are going to freeze. And that's why it lists here that the operational temperature needs to be between minus 40 Celsius to 60 plus Celsius. Remember, 100 Celsius, I forget the boiling point, but 100 Celsius, I believe, is the max, is either the boiling point or the max boiling point. So, and they're imagining that this has the shielding around it. So you're literally going from negatives to like we're about to boil, and that's with the shielding. Now imagine just the vacuum of space, and that's why they have the operational temperature listed as the requirements for the hardware they plan on building. The PCB material needs to be 22 layers of glass and polyamide, again, to survive not only space travel, but existing in space because of all the little particles that are going to be hitting it, even with shielding. And IPC A6110 Class 3 assembly structure, so probably no screws. It's probably entirely done through rivets, really good soldering. So they said that the, let's see, in the future, blockchain payload will continue to be upgraded to meet future demands of blockchain applications, but that they're going to have different problems. So the first problem they list here is x86 is complex and not open source. The internal structure of the processor is not clear, and there may be a backdoor that be unable. It's actually a good insight right there that, that there could be backdoors in all x86s. It's the United States government and China's government, so who knows. ARM, at least at the time, is listed as expensive intellectual property costs that will reduce user numbers. Spark is a product of commercial companies, whole technical team. It's funny that they talk about commercial companies even though they're a commercial company. I don't know how this works. MIPS and Power belongs to commercial companies which are focused on making profits, and their business model may not promote democratization of technology. So let's see, satisfy that payload. Open source processor project. So apparently that's what they're looking into, hence the FPGA, I guess, section here. So let's see. So the microcontrollers and OBC based on Zinc. I'm going to fuck up this word. Xinque? ZYNQ 7000, all programmable SoC, AP SoC. Device that integrates the software programmability of an ARM-based processor with the hardware programmability of HBA. We're going to look at that in a moment with the OS. The ITC interface, I2C bus supporting bidirectional data transfer between Ooh, that's a loaded term, especially what I've been going through this week. Masters and slaves, multi-master bus, aberration between simultaneous transmission masters. Go to circuit breakers. We will explain those terms. There's also a CAN interface on there for control area network bus. So that's sort of the stuff they were looking into. They also have entire details on the LEO satellites, the low orbital satellites, and how they need to be maintained and stuff. And let's kind of scroll down here, because let's get to the other section. So look at all this information. Like, this is, honestly, I'm actually way more impressed with to me, this one should have been the actual white paper, but that's just me. So yeah, we kind of got a decent look into like what they're trying to set up here. I'm going to take these two PDFs offline. And just to show you that their money is where their mouth is, Space Chain does have an entire thing with a lot of repositories on GitHub. I'm going to post their GitHub in the link. If you are on Twitch, if you scroll down the current stream, we actually have a little GitHub widget. So we actually forked Space Chain OS, which we're about to look into now. And so if you want to look at the code with us without trying to click that link into a new window and stuff like that, you can click on that and watch us while you dissect this with us. So the main operating system that they've built here is this thing called Space Chain OS, which is a blockchain operating system designed for spacecraft. It's using it's a real-time operating system and using the quantum blockchain software. Now, they haven't really updated this in a while, so I'm not sure. Like, we can poke around a bit. I didn't really get to... Oh, I'm in the wrong section. That's for all the complaints. I didn't really get to see much. There is supposed to be, like, kind of a documentation on, like, how all this works, and I can only get it to, like, half load in here, even though it's only a couple of kilobytes. So it's like I scroll down, there's a lot of pages and nothing, and then at some point it just pops up. Oh, they're using Hackbench. I know that it's Linux-based. I know that they're using, like, Linux to essentially build an interface. Up there's a dreaded putty. There's always putty somewhere in Linux embed Sky. So I know they're using some form of Linux, and they're using Linux to kind of patch everything together. But otherwise, like, we're not going to run this on here. I don't even know if this is even compatible with this machine, even in a virtualization service. I just kind of wanted to show, like, let's look at the Qt client. Oh, there are executable files, so that is interesting. I'm actually going to try something here. Yeah, it's a raw data file. So I didn't know there was actually exe files, because I didn't click in there. I was just looking at everything else, because I'm an idiot. So we could have actually, like, launched the executable. Maybe we'll do that at the end. Not sure. I usually like to pre-install stuff before we get on here. But yeah, they not only are they apparently working with other companies to build specific hardware and satellites, but they also made basically their own Linux operating system that maybe in the future we'll take a look at, whether it's on this episode or a future episode, in order to do the interface for it. And speaking of which, we're going to look at two more videos. So, you know, obviously you can't run an operating system without hardware. And one of the new breakthroughs is they've made this hardware called, I think, Callisto, which now is apparently in, like, open development mode. And they made a video explaining that, you remember that board, they were like, we really need to source these? They now apparently make the similar specifications, because I'm sure things have changed over time, but they've made those boards for real. And they're called Callistos, I think, or Callistos. I'm American, so I can't pronounce anything. But let's take a look at the type of boards that Space Chain has made. So yeah, I don't know if they charge for those. They probably do, but and they said limited quantity. But you know, in addition to being like, hey, why haven't you guys done anything with Hackasack to test the security? Especially if we get something like that going, it would be really also neat for Space Chain where we could get a hold of that hardware. And I would love to have and Commander and Supercell and everyone else like look and take it down. It's also nice to know that okay, so like I was kind of right where they are like it's not just Linux, like they're using Linux to interface and patch it together, but I guess their actual operating system, it seems like it is running via the blockchain. So the blockchain, I believe, is the actual Space Chain OS to some degree, and then that's interfacing with an embedded Linux system, and that's how it's communicating. And as you saw there, they actually apparently installed this on the ISS, so it's in testing mode. So again, it's nice to see them kind of like because I've noticed this they actually seem to achieve a lot of stuff in their roadmap. Like they will actually propose something, and then in like a year or three, it actually happens. There's just a lot more kind of unknown questions. It's more of like the people that support them and things like that. Those are the only things I could find kind of unscrupulous. And speaking of which, of that launch, a couple of years ago, they actually did send a hardware node wallet with Space Chain OS up into space.iss, and a couple of days ago, they received it and installed it. So let's take a quick look at that vid. So we sort of did the reverse here, where apparently so a couple of months ago, I guess they sent these up in like two different passes. They installed the actual blockchain, the hardware with the blockchain wallet on it, and then they added to it the Callisto hardware. Because you saw in the video that module was there, and then they added it to there, which interfaces with the network and DApp stuff. So again, they actually seem to be doing things that'd be really cool, and I'm kind of interested to kind of contact them and pick their brain a bit and see if we can get some like other school stuff going. But that's the big main one is Space Chain. But let's kind of go back to their main website. And so I was kind of curious about looking at some of these partners and like who is what, and like I know that like BitEEU, those are actual E's there, and it's stupid font that they picked, is like the premier like legally safe like cryptocurrency exchange in Europe. And of course, the European Space Agency is backing this. Then there's Open Cosmos, which is kind of freaky to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Like, let's go to their website. So I originally thought, oh, maybe this is like they're trying to like open source like space stuff, which it kind of seems like it. But basically, like what they're doing here, it says our simple, intuitive products, services provide entrepreneurs, researchers, government, and companies the opportunity to use space technology as a tool. And so they do mission services, development tools, satellites, all that sort of stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Open Cosmos. But the weird one, let's see if I can find it, is, oh, it's around here, hold on. Because it really took me by surprise. It might be Space Belt. Let's check that website out. Yeah, website's under construction. Yeah, that's the whole satellite thing. So maybe it's Space Harma. Lots of space words here, right? I'm starting to space out. No, it's not. Okay, so I saw a really weird one at one point where it was basically like... Oh, I'm trying to remember where it was. Did I actually have this open? Somewhere? No, that's the next thing we're going to be looking at. But it was so weird. It was like basically Arch Mission. So this is the thing that's not. It sounds like it's Arch Linux, but it's not. It's kind of unfortunate. It's kind of like A-Sticks or whatever that's called. So this is really cool project, but also kind of sad and horrifying when you think about it. The Arch Mission Foundation is a nonprofit that archives humanity's heritage for future generations. Okay, that kind of sounds nice. The Internet Archive, awesome shout out to them, is backing, as well as the Wikimedia Foundation, which I've dealt with in the past because I'm part of Wikimedia NYC. I try to get involved when I can. And a bunch of these other things, including MOM, aka Memory of Mankind. But what's so goddamn bizarre about this is that they have a public forum here where you can archive your name forever. So the idea is that you can put your name here, and they're going to put like a copy of Wikipedia and other data, and they're going to put it in like this kind of fortress thing that will be then in space. So that if something ever happens to our species, whether surviving humans can find it again, or aliens, because it's not aliens, but aliens find this, we have an entire archive of an honest view of humanity's history and discoveries. So basically, it's Soma. I don't know if anyone has ever played the video game Soma. It's a really great sci-fi horror game where, spoilers, even though this is part of the plot, I'm not going to tell the ending of this, but just spoilers. The solution to Earth getting hit by a comet and wiping everyone out and the surviving humans is that the surviving humans are going to try to digitally copy their brains onto this satellite that also has a virtual environment of Earth and has also like backup DNA information stuff to send out into space, in the hopes that, one, humanity can survive in some sort of form out there even though they don't have their physical bodies, and two, that hopefully one day they can find the operating system on that spacecraft can find a suitable home for them to potentially regrow their bodies and build a new one. And it's morbid as hell, and that was a video game, and they did that to be morbid as hell on purpose. This is real. This is if a meteorite hits the planet, or like COVID mutates into something and we can't stop licking doorknobs and rubbing buttholes on each other and we just get wiped out, or like stuck next to Electric Boogaloo happens, or the Amazon drones all come and kill us, we have a copy of our entire species so that if there are surviving humans, they now know their past and can rebuild. And even more worse, if there's other species out there, it's basically a giant tombstone of what we were. That's just nuts. I literally found this out when researching. I did like a little bit more research today. I was trying to see like the other sponsors. And like kudos for like Internet Archive and Wikimedia Foundation supporting this. But man, is that it like starts to it's like a good creepypasta, but it's real, where it sounds wholesome in the beginning. And then as you start researching what it is, it just gets like morbid without being obviously morbid. And yeah. So I just wanted to show that off. So I'm already disappointed that this has nothing to do with Arch Linux, and even though this is a good endeavor, it's just really creepy to think about, even though I guess it's inevitable, right? All right, I don't want to think about it. This is a blockchain show. This is not about existential crisis. It's time to move on. So one of the sponsors on here, actually we have to scroll down a bit, is Kubos or CubOS, and they actually make a product called CubOS. Now, we're just looking at the the getting started and the documents of this, because to be honest, I could not have enough time or couldn't configure a good build environment to kind of show everybody. It has, you can use it in Python, Rust, or C. It's the three Cerebus heads of programming. And you can build it in Mac, Linux, or Windows. Each dev environment is its own crazy thing. So that's why we're not going to build it. We might work on this maybe for circuit breakers or something, or a DCG 201 meeting in the future. We might look at it. But there you go. Yep, pretty much. Thank you, Nope. And nice to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while. But the thing that we are going to look at, we're going to take a brief look at this, and then we're going to circle around back because I want to leave this at the end, is remember how I said that even though they built their own thing called Blockchain OS, it does interface with the form of Linux, it is using Stylex OS embedded. So Stylex OS is its own like weird custom operating system that's being built by a bunch of American open source and a crap ton of Chinese companies, including the dreaded Texas Instruments, which means that we will have the same chips for the next 50 years and they'll never go down. And SQLite, yes, we have the SQL that Christians use on this operating system in space, I might add. That's just beautiful. But I digress. So this is the operating system, and I did download the source code for this. So we are going to take a peek of what that is, but I want to do that at the end just to get some stuff out of the way here. So we're going to kind of move on here. And I also want to just talk about that, while SpaceX does sound like snake oil, and it might still, SpaceX is snake oil, but Space Chain sounds like snake oil, and maybe parts of it is, maybe it is, I don't know. I mean, they have done results. Like, they have done things and they work. Like, they're not just being vague. They're not McAfee where they just pull stuff out of their butt of, like, things that sound modern, but they're actually outdated and have nothing to show for it, a.k.a. John McAfee's entire romantic life. But there is a whole look into blockchain tech in space. Because especially when it's a lot of blockchain's integrations with IPFS now, when you think about it, again, it's sort of, you have a base level, like, organized way to organize data and other stuff on a network in sequence that then you can have a decent, like, check and balance system to make sure that that data is there and that data is what it is and where it is on a network. You decentralize that and you use a protocol like IPFS, which is designed for actual data taking forever in space. You know, I understand why a lot of groups are looking into this. And just to kind of show, like, how it is, there's a lot of people sending in satellites who are looking at blockchain technology. Some of these is the SpaceX Starlink system, which one day we'll look at, OneWeb, and Amazon Cooper. But some other interesting stuff is that not only does this affect space, wait, where did you spit your beverage over? Let me know in chat, Nope, of what made you, because if you hadn't seen earlier, twice, oh yes, that thing. Well, you know, where's the lie? Like, I would have said this if he was alive too, but literally, where's the lie? Just saying, you know, if we want to honor a man like I did the last episode, we have to look at things honestly. So, just making sure. So, you know, with space, especially with the United States doing something hilarious as Space Force, a lot of people don't realize that, particularly in the 50s, like, a lot of the stuff that we consider modern today was either developed for or exacerbated in evolution because of the U.S.-Russian space race. So things like food being freeze-dried, which has done huge endeavors for food transportation and preservation, the miniaturizations and efficiencies of that was weird, piece of hot dog from 2 months ago. Today's episode's been really gross. Thank you. But the miniaturization and efficiency of circuit boards, ways of how to compress and send data, new designs for vehicles, just everything you can possibly think of has been a NASA technology or a cosmonaut or space technology, because Russia and a bunch of other agencies have also contributed over this. And there's still more developments. Hell, even certain materials that we've mined from space, different data that we've looked at, has just impacted humanity a lot. So if we're going to put blockchain in space, this is not only just going to affect space, this is going to affect everyone. And even though I couldn't download a couple of these, I just want to show you, there's been different papers on these. So for example, there's been a huge look at blockchain in order to do cyber attacks, and a huge part of that research by China, as I say, with rapid growth of satellite communications, space information networks, and stuff like that, is the security aspect, and they have a huge chunk of this paper that apparently involves blockchain. So that's just China's government alone. And so you're like, okay, well, China's government's weird. A lot of times they pull things out of their butt. Well, how about the U.S. military, who's been looking at blockchain for anonymous intelligence gathering and covert payments? This is actually going to be its own future episode, where actually I'm on the wrong. I think it's. No, it's actually here. This white paper here, done by the U.S. Not U.S. No, this is another thing. Hang on. Here we go. Yeah, this. I think. Hold on. Which one is? Yeah, for the government itself. It's one of these links. Hang on. Let's open. Which one is it? Link Springer. Okay, it is here. But the United States government has looking at tech. This is actually something I was thinking of with a future episode. There is a system that the United States government is trying to build right now, where essentially is its own version of Secure Drop, but it actually uses blockchain, a privacy-oriented, like very Monero-like setup as its backend. So basically, spies and informants and whistleblowers from other countries, not ours, because the U.S. government can, like, you know, let's say like someone has a picture of, like, Putin fucking a gay frog. Just saying. Not saying that's real, so don't send your missiles over Russia to New Jersey. I mean, you wouldn't really change much because it's a giant pothole, but still. But just saying, let's say someone got a picture of Vladimir Putin fucking a gay frog. That person would be able to go to the United States blockchain kind of whistleblower system, drop this off, and then they would send cryptocurrency. I don't know if it'd be their own cryptocurrency or a more popular one. Probably actually Monero would be a good choice for this. But they honestly, knowing the U.S. government, the same way if you've ever been to like a military base or a vacation center, they all have their own brands. They're probably going to develop their own cryptocurrency for this. But regardless, you would get paid in cryptocurrency, and then you could exchange that for something, and apparently that cryptocurrency is going to have a lot of anonymity resources to it, so that way people have a hard time tracking who gets paid, so that way the informants' lives and privacy aren't in danger. That was something I was thinking of doing for a future episode about like spying and blockchain and stuff, but that's one of the things there, and that's based on a lot of the space research. And then finally, one of the weirdest things, which we're going to get to, because it's really weird, is using blockchain as a property registry to protect for registering domains on network systems such as space chains, as well as to help research and mitigate cyber attacks. See, not the Pac-Man frog. Yep, sponsor today's episode, Pac-Man frog. If I do the spying thing, I should put Pac-Man frog as like the cover image. That would be hilarious. And because this one, I think you can actually just download. I will share this one in chat. There you go. And I didn't see the thing. Okay, so we're probably going to go on to like 9:40, maybe 9:50, just saying. So at least like 15, 20 more minutes. But I want to kind of look over, speaking of property registration, and then we're going to loop around to that operating system and see what we can look at and do with it. So thanks to Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all the rich assholes going into space, things have been weird. And one of the weirdest things, and I'm going to show you something that, as far as I could tell, did not get off the ground. Thank fucking God, because it's a really dumb idea. And then I'm going to kind of show you something horrifying that goes, no wait, plot twist, okay? So there is this crazy project called Project Diana.io, which I'm actually going to open in its own tab because I unfortunately forgot to do so. And this is nuts. So, you know how so many cryptocurrencies want to go to the moon? Imagine buying the moon. I'm not kidding. This is an entire initiative that was apparently backed by like certain government and company resources, where essentially it's a blockchain system where you can buy different and have it in as like an NTF. You own this. Basically, they're NFTing the surface of the moon. So you can own pieces of the moon. Like if you've ever looked at the map of the moon, you see the Sea of Tranquility and different types of mountains that are way taller than Mount Everest and stuff. You can own that. And thanks to the futurist commercial space travel, you could technically at one point fly there and go there and be like, I am the king of this part of the moon, and do whatever you want with it to some degree, because I'm pretty sure the Space Force might have a couple of questions with you. But you can essentially have your own little fiefdom on the moon. So something that supervillains used to do in the 60s and in Marvel Comics is now something you can do now, thanks to Elon Musk and all the other rich assholes. Yay! Question mark. Oh, jeez. And this is I'm not making this up. This is not a prank. This is real. And a bunch of it's backed up by China, so that's why they have the questionnaire. So what if China colonizes the moon? Like, what do we do here? Because so many countries now want to basically, it's like we're in Space Race Part 2. So they're trying to send their own people up under their governments. You're going to buy a damn crater. Yeah, or you can just buy New Jersey. I mean, we are a giant pothole. But no, part of the reason why I think this is so nuts and scary, blockchain lunar registry. It's the third time I've nearly puked on this episode. Just 3 words that should never be together or the same sentence. Blockchain, lunar, registry. But what is honestly really scary about this is, like with most things that are stupid business, political, and social influencers come up with, this is a test. This is like Sesta Fosta, where it's like, we're gonna target something small no one really cares about. Let's go after like people who use their genitals for money. Let's do that. And everyone's like, oh yeah, I don't like penises and vaginas. Like, throw them in the gulag. And then 2 years later, they're like, hey, we drafted a law that now you can't own any social media and you have to wear this butt plug all day. And they're like, I didn't sign up for this. Well, you signed up for Sesta Fosta? Yeah. Well, this is an extension of that. So you already agreed to something because, haha, got you, fucked you over now. Bend over, here comes the butt plug. That's what they do. They always target a small thing. You're kind of, this is not, I hate sounding like Alex Jones and that type of stuff, but this is real. Similar to, although it's not as exacerbated as people make it sound, but it is a problem, to be honest. Honestly, I think everyone should be vaccinated, and like either they should just like have people go around with little blow darts and have everyone get the vaccine, or my pitch, somehow make an edible version of vaccine and put it in weed edibles and McDonald's food, and you would vaccinate everyone around the world in like 2 days. That would be my thing. But even though I think everyone should get vaccinated, and I look at weird people who don't unless they actually have which is a true thing, pre-medical conditions where they can't get it. There's certain cancer types with medications and stuff. But the fact that now everyone's using the vaccination cards as like a global passport, very iffy. This is not anti-vax. Again, everyone should be vaccinated. I hate anti-vaxxers, but this is a social privacy issue. The EFF is trying to find the right balance for this themselves. That sort of a thing. So similar to how like they kind of take a small thing like that, or like 9/11, where it's like, we had a bad terrorist attack. What should we do? Let's do everything else but address that. You know, they're trying to sell they're trying to NFT pieces of the moon because you know, this planet is next. You're looking honestly at like dead serious, and this is not a good thing in my opinion, the future of real estate. So what you're looking at, in my opinion, is this is a test run, because this is a small celestial body that NASA in the United States doesn't really have moons, because you can't really, there's no real written rules for owning celestial bodies. There's barely any rules naming them for people to discover them, which is why you have like planets named after like, you know, IP Freely 1828 and stuff like that. I'm not even going to read that. Thank you for typing that. Everyone at home can read it. I'm just not going to read that out loud because I'm going to shit myself laughing at it. So just read that and laugh at home. But thank you, Note, for writing that. You didn't do anything wrong. I love that you wrote that. I'm just not going to read that out loud because it's too funny. But basically, you described what I did yesterday. So if you're spying on me, stop it. Please respect my privacy. But no, so this whole NFTing of the moon and the real estate of the moon, instead of having written deeds and, what do you call it? Contracts, and there's a specific name for when you rent for this. Leases. They're going to be NFTs. They're going to be blockchain data stored. And this, to me, even though it didn't quite get off the ground, is a blueprint on how it's going to go. I would play the video with this weird, creepy, like, I'm waiting for this to slide off, and there's like like one of those gray aliens underneath. It just gives that vibe right here. This is like one of the agents from the Matrix over here. I'm not going to play the video because which is why I usually like rip these videos, and I'm sorry I didn't notice this one, but usually we always we don't really live stream the videos because it congests our network, because we're in America and we run on, the entire country runs on 12 baud. But what you're looking at is the horrific beyond cyberpunk, like, fuck cyberpunk is now. This is beyond cyberpunk. This is like post-apocalyptic, beyond cyberpunk horseshit of NFTing planet surfaces, because you know that they're going to do this. Look at this mix of people here. Mostly Southeast Asia, one American as a security expert. Caden Titan, Godspeed for you, because must be a security nightmare. See, that's what. So they start off with the moon, and even their website's like, see this big blue ball that we're polluting? That's next. That's next. That's what they're trying to do here. It's the scariest goddamn thing I've seen, besides the more. So honestly, between NFTing the moon and where is it? Between NFTing the moon and making a blockchain space capsule about our species, just in case we all completely wipe ourselves out and make ourselves go extinct. This is just such an uplifting episode of Crypto Barons, isn't it? And you're saying at home, well, so far no one has bought anything. It's not really running. And apparently, one DIA or Diana is one one United States dollar, so it's probably a stabilized, centralized token. You know, we should be happy that this hasn't gotten a full foothold yet, even though the idea of itself is disturbing. This happened. This is like beyond cyberpunk is now. This is just sad. This is something that, like, this would break William Gibson's brain. Like, you could never. You always know when something sucks in real life when not even, like, really good writers could come up with this shit, right? So, an artist known as, and I'm going to screw this up, Lil Uts Vert, who's really big also in cryptocurrency and blockchain stuff and knows Elon Musk personally, is buying an entire planet. Bought an entire planet. The same dude who apparently wore a $24 million jewel in his forehead now owns a planet. This is not April Fool's. This is not a Yes Men prank. I should know because I'm part of them. No, he actually right now is in the process, he or she, they, in buying, this is their Twitter, and their tweet about this. Hashtag Neuralink, again, back to that. Trying to buy a planet. Now, I think NASA, I'm going to retweet this, asked the most hilarious question they wrote. Let me make this bigger, just like what she said, if I can. NASA actually replied to it and wrote, while we don't name our own planets, that's the IAU.org, or sell them, that's no one. We're so curious that of the 4,438 worlds discovered beyond our solar system, what made you excited about WASP-127b? If you're wondering what they're talking about, this is the planet they're talking about. This is WASP-27b, because most planets outside of our solar system are sadly not named after Greek gods and stuff. They're named after basically bad password generators. And let's take a little look at it. It's a gas giant. It was discovered back in 2016. Let's see if we can get a system view here. So that's it. It's floating in its own system. And there's its sun right there. A G-type star, which is not visible from Earth. Go back to the planet view. This is a hypothetical visualization, by the way. I think we can actually, like, turn it or whatever. Oh, yeah, we can. Oh, this is kind of... The future is now. This is what they think it looks like based on some of the stuff they know. It is apparently slightly bigger than Jupiter, which is scary because you can basically fit like 1 billion Earths in Jupiter. So that's a big bitch. That is a big ass planet. That is the Beyonce's behind of planets right there. It takes 4.2 days for orbit, so its time goes by really fast there. WASP-27b, and by the way, it's not lost on me that the first time a celebrity attempts to buy a planet, they bought the one named Wasp. I'm gonna let you get that joke. It's not a text joke. I'll give you a hint. The W stands for white. But it's a gas giant exoplanet that orbits a G-type star. Takes 4.2 days to complete its orbit around its star. So imagine every 4 days is a new year. Time goes by really fast there. Imagine the work scheduling for that. Imagine going to work for 2 seconds. That's amazing. And this celebrity, people are claiming that they've already gone through the paperwork and buy it. NASA's challenging that. Because the problem is that there's no real, like, agency As I say, while NASA has actively been involved in years of discovery of exoplanets, the agency has no involvement in the ability to purchase an exoplanet. Under international law, governments are not capable of granting, recognizing, or enforcing ownership interests in celestial bodies. Even the naming of such objects fall out of which, as they mentioned in the tweet, the NASA purview is responsibility of the International Astronomical Union or the IAU, which sounds like a political faction in Star Wars. Laughlin, who apparently calculated its planet's worth when this news broke, is not aware of any current process where you can just buy a planet. They said there's no legal ownership framework or regulated Earth base in exchange. And this is why I think this celebrity keeps bringing up Elon Musk, because sending Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos into space is not just bullshit news. It's literally a threat, similar to the NFTing of the moon. And what they're basically saying there is we're now going to see the commercialization of space. So in the same way how there's annoying YouTube ads, you might start seeing like ads for like Coca-Cola or Google products or things like that on the moon. They're going to try to buy out space for it. They're going to do vacation stuff. Might get to a consumer level, like a true consumer level, where like you and me can go visit, at least up to a space station. But this is primarily for rich people. Elon Musk, instead of trying to solve the Earth's problems, he just wants to run away from it with all the money he's made off of really badly designed electric cars. Yeah, we're seeing the commercialization of space. So I wouldn't be surprised because, as they say, there's no government on Earth that can say you own a planet. But what stops SpaceX from essentially issuing a NFT type grant that you now own this planet? Because there's no legal framework for it. No one's saying, it's not that you can't do it, it's just no one says that you can or can't do it. And that is like a giant present with a bow for corporations. It's not even gray. This is such an amorphous area that no wonder why so many companies are getting involved in space and trying to send things into space, because it's literally a wild, wild west that corporations can drool over, because they literally have no restrictions, which is basically the best thing a company ever wants to hear. It's the real libertarian future, except as you can see here, where this is the Sega CD bad libertarian future. See, let's be real here. They're gonna sell the Mars jizz. They bring back a little vial for us. Like, yeah, no, I can't wait for that. I agree with you. No, I cannot wait for all the assholes that laughed at that Twitch streamer of selling her own bathwater. And I know all of these, like, she's trying to, like, sell water from her body, like, that's icky and stupid, and men shouldn't be that stupid, and, like, we're the morally right. You know they're gonna buy a Elon Musk space turd, right? Right? We all know this. We know someone's gonna buy the Tang pouch that Jeff Bezos drank out of while in space on the ISS. Like, we know that's going to happen. It's going to be the same people that complain about this, and that's why I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Celebrities are celebrities, okay? And by the way, also with that lady, she figured out how to hustle on her own. Cool, good for her. I'm not going to complain. She even said, she actually made a press release about that, like, hey, this is just me because I'm weird. People don't have to buy this. Like, if you want to try doing this, that's fine. That's really neat. When, like, mega rich millionaires who already have money are already selling this shit, trying to Gwyneth Paltrow this, no, like, you know this is going to happen. That's why I'm glad you brought that up. No, wow, this has been such a morbid episode. Let's try to do it on a up note. And like I said, I did download the Stylix OS source code here. I'm going to attempt now. Keyword is attempt to see if we can open it up on air. And for that, what I'm going to need is, let's see if I already have it in here. Let's see. I just want to see if I have anything labeled here. By the way, while I'm looking for this, if you really like the content that you've seen so far on Crypto Barons, this is the show where we talk about blockchain technologies as technologies. You can hit that. You can like, share, subscribe to us on Twitch, DLive, or YouTube. If you do this on YouTube, make sure to hit that bell to turn all notifications on, because YouTube is poorly coded. And let me just test something here. Okay. And the other thing is that if you're on D Live and you subscribe, again, we're only 2 followers on D Live away from. Let me just title this folders, and hopefully I won't get anything. Oh, we actually got it right away. Good. I don't have to do anything. We are 2 followers away on D Live from becoming what's known as cryptocurrency superstars, in which we can do a lot more with the D Live account. So if you have a D Live account, it's completely free to follow us on there. We're not like a sponsor or anything. And if you know someone with a D Live account, just tell them to follow us. We get 2 followers, and we get to upgrade our D Live account completely for free. And we work very hard. And thank you for everyone who's followed us so far on this show, as well as future shows. And plus, if you follow us, you get notifications for more episodes of Crypto Barons. Again, we're a second and fourth Saturday of every month, as well as our other shows like Master of Unlocking and stuff, and our hybrid live stream meetings for the future. Belle Delphine, she's OnlyFans girl, spits bathwater, Elon Musk space tour. Yeah, that's what I mean, Belle Delphine. Like, she's goddamn weird, but hey, she figured out a cool hustle to do this. And again, I know these folks are hypocrites. I was gonna say guys because they're pretty much all dudes. Because as you said, they're going to buy an Elon Musk space turd. The same assholes who complain about Belle Delphine, OnlyFans girls bathwater, which, yeah, stupid concept, but I don't want to hear about, oh, this is icky, like, I would never fall for this, and then you go for the Elon Musk crap. And I know that's going to happen. We're going to see that. So thank you for bringing up that nope, even though, just like your username, I wanted to nope out of that, because I know that's going to happen. But yeah, so I did download the, and I just forgot, the Stylex OS source code here, and we're going to go kind of dig around the folders, see what we can pull up. I don't know if we're going to look at any actual code, but it's a lot to look at here, and you also get a sneak peek into how we kind of organize folders here. So again, they're using a lot of library systems. They have various MPK files. They have a Makefile in here. Again, it seems like with Windows, like from what I understand, you have to compile this either in Linux, or you have to build it in Linux or through Mac Terminal. If you're on Windows, you have to do a bunch of setup to essentially either they assume you're doing Linux, Windows in Wine, so they actually list it as building in Wine, but you have a whole list here to basically reconfigure, I believe, PowerShell in order to actually operate with the Makefiles and stuff. So let's see. So we have expat here. So it seems like you'd have to build every single one of these folders, because I haven't seen the instructions for this yet. So yeah, you have to build everything for one of these, and then I guess run as an embedded system. Oh, there's an overall makefile. Okay, so each of these folders have their own makefile. So what you would do is load this in a Linux terminal, and we're not going to do it here because I don't know what system resources are going to be. That might crap it out. In the future, I will compile this, maybe record a video on it, and we'll see how it goes. And again, we're also not running any of the actual SpaceX hardware. Again, that might be a future episode of Circuit Breakers, which happens on random Wednesdays when we feel like it, and it's going to definitely come back next month. But yeah, so what it is that each of these different lib folders has their own make-file to build the entire operating system. And then there's a overall make-file in the main folder where when you make that and then make that, or do the prerequisites and then make it, it will go to every single one of these makes. That's what I'm pretty sure this make file is it goes to every single one of these makes in each folder and builds them individually, and then probably makes like an instant access prime folder, executable, where it'd be able to basically access all these different parts at the same time. And then you would have, because this is an embedded operating system, this is not an active one, hence why they probably need to pair it with Linux in order to get this to work, in addition to their weird, because this is they're using Stylex OS to make the blockchain OS. So you modify slightly things, have this have an actual blockchain that generates, and that's the Space Chain OS. And then because it's an embedded system, in order to actually interface with it, because all this would do is just blockchain and just run it, you would need another form of Linux, and that's why they have them dual together, as well as stuff to survive in space. So yeah, I'm going to go back to Face here, because that was basically our show. It's 9:42 Eastern Standard Time. Now, thank you everyone for watching, and because of that, I'm going to quickly go on to DLive. And if you have been watching on DLive, I don't know how many DLive watchers out there. As per usual, every Crypto Barons and every Crypto Barons we have, and we try to do this also every meeting. I am going to go in and distribute lemons in a couple of seconds here. I'm just waiting for pages to load. While that is going on, if you are on Twitch, stay tuned. It is our tradition, as always, to fuck it, we'll do it live, and raid another awesome Twitch streamer, whether it's someone that we, and lag is doing crazy stuff. And whether it's someone, it's usually someone we're currently following, because we follow certain streams that we absolutely love. A lot of tech streams. They're not all tech streams. Some of them are some gaming streams that we like. Some of them are just odd stuff that we find on the internet. Um, but yeah, sometimes it's usually someone we follow. If there's no one really interesting live streaming, we will then go in and I realized I clicked on the dashboard instead of my channel, and then we will sometimes we actually go to a section such as science and technology or the make section or whatever and find a cool thing. Right now now I'm on the page, so I'm gonna put a bit more lemons in here. We're gonna drop 50 more lemons in the treasure chest. And in a moment, during our outro, we're gonna distribute the reward. So if you wait like 10 more seconds, we should be able to do this. So I'm just looking through here of what we can go raid here. So again, if you're on Twitch, stay tuned because we're gonna go raid a channel. If you are on D Live, stay for a couple of seconds because we are going to then my brain just died. We are going to go distribute those lemons, which is kind of like bits in Twitch. It's the own currency for D Live. Yeah, lemons. And of course, you're going to donate. Oh, okay. So we have two interesting choices here. Let's see. What are they doing here? I'm trying to choose. Yeah, it seems like these are the two best choices on Twitch. I'm trying to choose between these, and also she's going on. I don't know which one to stream. Huh. Alright, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the outro, and literally, right when we go through the outro, if you're on D-Live, we're going to distribute the lemons, and stay tuned on Twitch, because I'm going to flip a coin somehow, because coins are two-sided, but I'm choosing between 3 channels, and stick around if you're on Twitch, because we're going to raid the stream. Thank you all for watching Crypto Barons. The next one for next month, that will be in August, that will be DEF CON stuff. It will happen on, on August 13th. So it's going to be a week after, August 14th. So it's going to be a week after DEF CON. We might do a special of Crypto Barons during DEF CON because there is going to be the cryptocurrency villages and other blockchain-related stuff. So we might do a special the DEF CON weekend along with our other stuff. We're still working on it, but our next main episode will be on the 14th. If we don't cover it live, we might do a recap on the 14th. Again, I don't know what the next episode's going to be on the 14th. I have an idea, but I need to talk over with this group first, because unlike Space Chain, where we just talked about this by myself, the next group I want to do, who does a lot of hardware stuff, and I might even have more crossovers with circuit breakers, I actually want to invite them to show their hardware on screen, kind of like how I've done interviews in the past on this show and Master of Unlocking. So I hope to see you all on August 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you learned a bunch of stuff. This is kind of a morbid episode, but, cool things. It had to do with space. I love space. Star Wars fan and everything, as you saw with the intro. So thank you for watching. If you have any more questions, you can go to our website at defcon201.org, where you can see more of our, what our streaming shows are like, as well as we're going to be posting new information about how these hybrid meetings are going to be working in the following week. So that's going to be fun lead up to DEF CON, as well as follow us on social media, such as on Twitter at defcon201nj, and just defcon201 on Instagram and GitHub and stuff. We just post the master list in chat. I'm your host, Sidepocket. I'm one of the 2 co-founders of DEFCON 201. Enjoy the raid and the lemons that are about to come up in a couple of seconds. Lemons for D-Live. Hack the planet. Dirty Jersey represent. And remember, between that Arch group that has nothing to do with Arch Linux and owning the moon, we might have NFTs on the human species on the moon after we've wiped ourselves out by everyone accidentally installing Tempo OS on every single device, and then they become set in it and murder us. Fun! Peace out, everyone. Enjoy the outro music. Enjoy the raid. Say hi to whoever we raid. And if you're on D-Live, I hope you enjoy those lemons. Thank you, Nope. Have a good one. Enjoy your day. See you on the 14th next month, and definitely during DEF CON week. Peace out, guys. Crypto Barons for the win!